Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment, here to discuss the coronavirus, COVID-19, and everything that is going on between COVID-19 and the NBA and March Madness and how it relates to sports and also just in general. Because I've been very frustrated. Actually, in tracking this, I've been tracking this for the past number of weeks and just looking at everyone's reactions on social media and even talking with people on the streets and how misinformed and uninformed that people are regarding this topic. And I understand why. Because this is an incredibly fast growing virus. I mean, it is absolutely outstanding. Hold on, there's a lag. Let me see if I can try to fix this lag real quick. That way, it'll be a better stream for you all. Let me close some tabs in order to help that. This is an incredibly fast growing virus. I mean, you people need to understand that firstly. Okay, this is an incredibly fast growing virus. So for my job, okay, for my real lifetime big man, grown man job, I am a software engineer, right? My company has a number of locations in China. So they were very interested in coronavirus and tracking coronavirus. And I was specifically asked to track coronavirus, not only in China, but worldwide, and to come up with some analytical dashboards to track its growth, where we're headed, and what's going to go on. As a software engineer, I've been doing this for 2 weeks. Now, I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not a biologist. I can't speak for the human aspect of this. I can only tell you numbers, but I can tell you numbers. So 2 weeks ago, just two, around, I want to say February 25th to be exact, Italy had about 300 cases. Today they have over 15,000 confirmed cases. That growth is huge. Huge. From 300 to over 15,000 2 weeks, they're shut down. The United States now, last Thursday, because as it just hit the United States, Trump was talking a whole bunch of crap, and then me and my friends went to lunch, me and my workmates went to lunch, we came back from lunch, we saw the U.S. had got over 100, and I was like, 2 weeks, I think stuff's gonna start shutting down. We had the conversation then because I just had the feeling, having tracked Italy, because I personally tracked Italy from 300, and then at that point, I want to say Italy had gone just over 2,000 or 3,000 confirmed. I was like, in the U.S., it's going to start spreading soon and we're going to be in trouble. And in the past week, we've gone from 120 confirmed cases to now over 1,000 confirmed cases. And trust me, there are way more cases than confirmed cases, at least 5 times. And if you're not convinced on that, just think about this. In Utah, there are 5 confirmed cases. Last numbers that I have, all right? Just 5 confirmed cases. Of the 5 confirmed cases, 2 of them are Utah Jazz. Do any of y'all know anyone in Utah? Because I don't. If you were to put a gun to my head and ask me to name anyone in Utah, I could do it. You know who I'm going to name? Utah Jazz. Those are going to be the people that I name. And of the 5 cases confirmed, 2 are Utah Jazz. You think there's only 5 people that have coronavirus in Utah? It's at least 5 times, 10 times, 20 times that. So we can say there's only 1,000 cases in the U.S. I'm not so sure about that. So, in tracking this virus, I knew that this was going to happen, that there was going to be this widespread really just growth of this virus. Now, you will not die of coronavirus. I will look you in your eyes and I will tell you, and I will be right for 99% of you actually, because I have a younger audience, that you will not die of coronavirus, right? So the skeptics that say you're not going to die of coronavirus, they're right. The children aren't going to die. The youngins aren't going to die. 100% right. But what you people need to understand is, and some of you people that have really been showing your psychopathic tendencies, is that some people will and already are. And that's bad. Like, that is not okay. Like, you do realize people dying is not okay. Like, it's not going to be you, most likely. Oh, even way more than most likely. The chances of it being you are so low. But people are dying. That's a problem. So people like to throw out the death rate because we still don't even have the exact number on the death rate. But the death rate, to be exact, anywhere from really 1.5 to 3% of the general population. If you're under 40, probably less than 1%. If you're over 60, probably over 3%, right? So the numbers aren't that bad. But let's just put those numbers into a little bit of perspective, just for one moment. So let's say, and this would not happen, but let's just say the coronavirus, if we did nothing, if we say, let's just continue life as is, the death rate isn't that bad, no problem, no big deal. And let's just say we went up to 25% of the US population getting infected with the coronavirus. Now, of the people that you know, let's say you have 1,000 Facebook friends, and I'm sure a lot of you have 1,000 Facebook friends. 2 of them would die. Is that not a problem? Is that not crazy to you? Oh, and well, actually, that's not even a 25% of the U.S. population gets it. Sorry, my bad. Let's say you have like 2,000 Facebook friends. 1 of them would die. That's a problem. And then think about the NBA. So the NBA, they're all young. They're all, they all have, great immune systems, the best athletes. Okay. There's roughly 500 players in the NBA. 500 players running around the NBA. Let's say 25% of the NBA came down with the coronavirus. Right? 1 or 2 NBA players would die. That's crazy. Like, that is actually insane. Like, that actually is insane. So we do need to contain this. And steps are now being made to contain this. But I just want people to say that, oh, why are we canceling stuff? We don't need to cancel stuff. People would die. Like, that's a problem. The most catastrophic event in U.S. history in my lifetime is 9/11, where 3,000 people died. Okay? If 2% of the U.S. population dies, that is catastrophic. That is 6 million people gone if we all got infected, which would not happen. But still, let's say 25% of that 6 million people actually would get it. 1 million people would die. That is insane. If 1 million people died this year, that is crazy. So it needs to be contained. It is a problem. Only 3,000 died in 9/11, and 9/11 sucked. So now we're just going to pick 1 out of every 300 people and take them. Look at the celebrities now. Tom Hanks. We love Tom Hanks. He's over 60 years old. The death rate for him thus far, if you look at other countries, it's only 3 to 5%. But let's say, okay, now we have 30 celebrities that are over 60 years old. All of a sudden, wow, 1 of them really might die. And you can say, well, they're older, but they're going to die soon. Anyway, I don't want that to be the case. I want them to go when it's their time, not because it was a virus that we could have stopped. And I have friends I have a friend that has sickle cell disease. I have multiple other friends who have compromised immune systems. I don't want them to be at risk. Why do you people want them to be at risk? Just because you're going to be okay, oh, everything's all right. Hey, I'm young and I'm healthy, everything's fine. Who cares? There are people, young people, who have compromised immune systems and they can't handle this. And then what happens, because right now what's happening in Italy? Right now in Italy, they're running out of beds, they're running out of units, they're running out of devices in order to help people treat coronavirus. They're running out of options. They're having to look at people's family members, and saying, we cannot treat you. You have to go back out onto the street. Good luck. What happens if that happens to your family member? It's scary stuff. Now, with all that said, this will be contained. Okay, I'm telling you, this will be contained because we're already taking the precautions. So we're canceling and March Madness, we're suspending the NBA, we're doing all this. But look at Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert testing positive for this. And what was Rudy Gobert doing? Oh, it's no problem. Let me just go ahead and touch something. And he'll be fine. He's going to survive. But what about the 70-year-old media member who has some heart issues that had to pick up that microphone again, had to pick up that recorder again? Is he going to be all right? What happens if he goes? Is his family going to be all right because Rudy Gobert decided to touch everybody's microphone jokingly because he's young and he's going to be okay? That's not okay. So we're shutting stuff down. Things are being canceled. Go get your groceries. Things are being shut down. And it is for the better, okay? It's for the better. Don't be selfish just because you're going to survive. You will survive. Even if you get it, you're young, you're healthy, you'll survive. Congratulations. But you might infect the next person, someone's father, someone's mother, someone's grandfather, someone's grandmother, and that person, it wasn't their time yet, and you made it come earlier than it had to be. You might infect that person who has a compromised immune system, who's young and still has a life to live, as long as we can just contain this thing. That's why we want to contain this thing. That's why we need to contain this thing, because it's not their time yet. So, as I told you, to start this, I was tracking this virus and what happened in China, and China's shady. Okay, the one thing about China that you need to understand is that they're very shady. There's been a lot of information that's been hidden, not only in the virus now, but in how it grew to the point in which it did. We really can't trust those Chinese numbers at all. There's not really many numbers we can't trust. If anything, we need to look at Italy, because Italy, we know what's going on. We have testimonies of what's going on. We have closer to real numbers of what's going on over there. But China and South Korea have appeared at least to have leveled off because they've taken precautions. They've gone through canceling stuff. They've gone through shutting some stuff down. They've contained the problem, and it's been all right. But we're talking weeks. I mean, we are talking weeks, and again, right now we're only reporting 1,300 cases right now in the U.S. It's probably over 10,000. And people are now starting to die. Today, the death toll went from 30 to 39. It could have continued to increase. And it's sad. And it's sad to just see also on Twitter and everything saying like, oh, it's just a big thing by the media. The media is blowing it out of proportion. Look, no one's saying it's World War Z. Some people might be saying it's World War Z. I'm not saying that, okay? Let me be clear. I'm not saying that. But people are dying. We already have over 4,700 reported deaths. Who knows how many people have died? And we don't even know if it was a coronavirus yet. We're just going to say flu-like symptoms. We're going to say, oh, because of complications due to age, you do the autopsy, you find out, oh, wait a minute, it was coronavirus. How many people have it? We don't even know because people aren't getting tested. Do you even know one person in your life who has been tested? Like actually physically know anyone in your life that's been tested? You can't even get tested until you have symptoms. The incubation period for this virus, that is the time in which you have the virus and you may not even be symptomatic. It's like 5 days. So you can have the virus, have it for 5 days, can't get tested even if you wanted to, give it to all kinds of people for those 5 days, and then finally realize, oh snap, I have symptoms, and then wait in line to go get tested. If you're willing to even wait through the line to get tested or pay up the money to get tested, then you'll be able to say, oh snap, I have the coronavirus, I should stay inside. And then I want to also address that. So thank you to Alex Mans, who in the chat says we should be more worried about the flu. So why are we more worried about the coronavirus than the flu? Because the flu kills many people every year. The flu has killed many more people this year, right? Yes. This is like you saying, let's go back to sports, right? Let's go right back to sports. This is the exact same as if someone said, why are you worried about Zion Williamson becoming an all-time great NBA player and better than Blake Griffin? Like, Zion isn't even close to Blake Griffin in career points or career rebounds or NBA playoff appearances or NBA wins. Yeah, because Zion is a rookie. You do realize this is new, right? You do realize this is starting from 0 to 120,000 in the span of 2 months. This is a rookie. This is a first year. This is growing. You want to sit back and just wait for Zion? Oh, we can wait for Zion to be better than Blake Griffin because, it's coming if we don't stop Zion. We can stop and we can wait for it to be as bad as the flu. Because trust me, we don't know the exact infection rates yet. That's one thing, that there's not enough science to back up infection rates. Is it more infectious than the flu? Is it not? We don't know if it could ever reach the amount of people infected as the flu. But I'll tell you this, if we don't do any sort of containment, it probably would. So yes, the flu kills more people because the flu's been around for years and the coronavirus has only been around for 2 months, and in the US, 2 weeks. If you want to wait 6 months, 8 months, a year, we can wait. All right, let's go ahead and let's wait. We'll just wait for it to grow, and then by the time you know it, oh snap, 60 million people are infected by coronavirus. And let's see if we do the death rate of 0.3% on 60 million. Let's see how many people are going to wind up dead because we waited because, wait a minute, it's not as bad as a flu yet. 1.8 million people because we waited for it to get as infectious as the flu. Stop it now. Stop it now. That's why we're taking precautions. Yes, it's not as bad as the flu because it's new. But if it keeps growing and growing and growing, and it infects just as many people as a flu, it kills way many more people than the flu. The flu can infect 40 to 60 million people a year. That's 1 to 1.8 million people dead. That's a problem. That's a problem. So, the precautions are being made, and we'll see how it goes in the next week. There will, to me, and this is where I get into epidemiology, I guess, there's going to be a point at which this levels off, everything calms down. I'm going to be working from home for the next 2 weeks. That's what my company policy just came out. There's going to be a point where everything calms down, everything flattens, okay? Everything's going to be chill then. But the question is then, because there's not going to be a vaccine, as far as I know, it would take at least a year for a vaccine to truly be remembered, or to truly be rendered, and produced and then sent out to the masses. But there could be some sort of, suppressant, some sort of something that they could send out quickly, but even that would probably take months. So the question is, whenever it levels off, and it will level off, I'll tell you that. I don't know how shut down we're going to get, but we're going to get to a point where we're shut down enough to where it levels off. And then when it levels off, the question then becomes, how can we stop that next wave? Because it's still going to be lying dormant in some people. It still could, come back into the U.S. because who knows if Italy's going to have it figured out by then, if Spain, it might pop up in another country or 2 or 3. This is something to look out for. This is not the end of the world. I'm not saying this is the end of the world. This is not the apocalypse. I'm going to be here tomorrow. You're going to be here tomorrow. You're probably going to be here in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a year, 2 years, etc. But some people are going to die, and if precautions are not taken, a lot of people are going to die. And just because it's not you or anyone that you know doesn't mean that it's not a problem and that it should not be addressed. It sucks that I can't turn on my TV and watch the NBA tonight. Oh, I wanted to watch the Rockets and Lakers tonight. But if it saves the 70-year-old man that would have been in the audience tonight, you know what? It's worth it. And I feel like we need to be more human, man. And this has become such a partisan issue, such a political issue. Look, what benefit does anyone have for this? Except for maybe the media. Like, I understand the media is getting more coverage, they're getting more watch time. But the U.S. government is not happy about this. The stock market is crashing. Trump is pissed. Our economy is not happy about this. Our employers aren't happy about this. The billionaires and billionaires, right? That Bernie Sanders talks about at the top of the hierarchical order in the United States. They're not happy that we're buying less stuff, that the stock market is crashing, that this is going on. Who does this help? The only thing you can argue, okay, it helps the media because there's more people watching ABC News tonight. Okay, fine. No one else is being helped by this. And maybe Purell. Purell is making a bunch of money because they're selling, hand sanitizers and, maybe these little soap companies. But this is a problem, all right? So everyone's incentive, the sports leagues, the billionaires, Trump, everyone's incentive is to get this resolved as soon as possible. It's going to take a number of weeks. Some people believe that it is going to balloon to that $40 to $80 million infected. I am not of that belief. I believe we will stable it off. Actually, maybe even, I don't want to go on record and making predictions on this, but potentially even before 100,000 confirmed cases. I actually do believe that's a scenario. I'm not going to say it's going to happen. I need to see what we do. I need to see how we react. I need to see how if Americans can actually follow rules that the government puts out in terms of precautions over the upcoming weeks. But I think there's a real scenario where we get this before we get over 100,000 confirmed cases. We suffer less than 2,000, 3,000 deaths, and we move on. And in May, we're good to go, and we're rolling. Maybe June, but even as early to mid-May, I think it's possible. If everyone reacts smartly, wisely, I think we could snuff this out quickly. But if we don't, things are going to get very, very interesting. And for someone that covers sports, it sucks for me. So with that said, there is one super chat that I want to get to. And DMV Fan 123 says, time to work through my video game backlog. And it might be just that time. So I'm not here to spell gloom and doom. I just want people to understand why this is so serious, to try to put some numbers into perspective for you all. Right? If we let this balloon up to being as popular as the flu, are you ready for 1 million people to die? I don't think so. So let's stop it before it does, and I'm sure that we will. I believe that we will. I'm not really sure of anything. And I don't want anyone to think that I am sure of anything because, look, I'm not a biologist. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not. I can just tell you the numbers. And I've watched the numbers. I've been tracking the numbers for 2 weeks now, and just looking at Italy and me tracking them from 300 to over 15,000 now, over 1,000 deaths that 2 weeks ago would have been insane to even think about. The U.S., we're dirtier than Italy. We have a lot more people than Italy. Luckily, I think we're doing more early than Italy did. But that's just something to look out for. Okay, so just look out for that. So I will be back tonight for Tighten Up Thursdays. A lot of you guys wanted me to talk about the Tennessee Titans. I'll be back later, probably. It actually might be as early as 7 o'clock Central to talk Tennessee Titans, to talk about the releases, to talk about all that. But this is a topic that I absolutely had to discuss. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment. I'm out. See you all later.